This week is our first week where we're going to start talking about automation. So automating tasks that you do over and over and should not ever do manually. Thinking about those tasks, finding tools that you can use so that you can streamline your workflow and make your work easier to manage. So we have a mockup here. It's called mockup.psd. I need to take pieces of this mockup, so the logo, this picture, probably these 4 pictures, and potentially some of the art that's here on this hover button. I need to pull it out of the mockup and save them as separate images. Okay, so here's what we're not going to do. We're not going to take the marquee tool and we're not going to select around the part that we want and copy it and flatten the image and paste it into another file. No, we're not doing that. Here's also what we're not going to do, but you might want to check into it if you are working a lot with email campaigns and you're writing HTML files for email campaigns. So there is a now pretty old feature in Photoshop called the slice tool. And using the slice tool, you can drag your rectangle around pieces of the page and label them, and then you can use File, Export, Save for Web Legacy. So it's called Legacy because now there's an even easier way in Photoshop to do this. So people don't use the slice tool as much. So we're also not going to use the slice tool in this video. Let me undo my slice here. Okay, so what we are going to use is the generator. And in order to use the generator, we have to make sure a few things are set up right. So I'm going to go and make sure the Move tool is selected. Make sure you have Auto Select. It'll make your life easier. Up in the Photoshop preferences, you will make sure that under plugins, Enable Generator is checked. So just make sure of that. Also, for each file that you're going to be generating images, you have to actually enable it by going File, Generate, and then choosing Image Assets. The reason is because if you have image assets checked, every time you save your document, Photoshop will generate new image assets, which could potentially be kind of slow. So it's not turned on by default. I do want to generate these, so I'm going to check it. And now if I look, I can see that it is checked. Okay. So over here, if I click, let's say I want to do this bacon. So I click here, and because I have the auto select on, it's popped it open in the layers panel. I really want this whole logo, not just pieces of it. So this entire logo, I want to generate an image that's just of the stuff that's on this layer. And I'm taking a look at this image, and it's line art. It looks like it'll be fairly small image size. It's got a transparent background, so that narrows it down to 2 image types in my mind. JPEG does not have a transparent background option, so I can't use JPEG. So I would use either a PNG file or a GIF, so PNG or GIF. Which one? I would lean towards PNG because its transparency will be better, but ultimately I think I'll generate both of them and see which I prefer and which is the smaller image size for the kind of result I'm getting. In either case, the quick and easy way, now that I have Generate turned on, is to double click on the layer and name it with the kind of file extension I would like. So if I want it to be a PNG file, I just type the name of the file name that I want. Doesn't have to be logo, could be whatever you want, .png. And I hit enter, and then I save, Command S, or Control S on Windows. Then I switch, and I'm prepared to be wowed, because there is now a mockups-assets folder in which the logo.png file has been generated for me magically. Woo! So I double click it, and there it is. It's just generated it. That looks pretty good. So now I'm thinking to myself, would a PNG file be better, or would a GIF file be better? Well, let's do them both. What if you wanted to generate both of them? You can do this. Double click, put a comma after that first file name that you selected, and now I'll say logo.gif, hit enter. Now I have 2 different files listed here. Save and switch, and you will see I now have both versions. So let's open up this one. And now I can compare them right under each other, and they are pretty similar. There's a little bit more obvious crappiness around the edges of the text here versus the background color, but it's not bad. I think in terms of quality, the PNG is winning. However, when I look down at my file size, PNG is also more than twice as big. So, but 8K versus 17K, not a huge difference anyway. So I think I would be likely to choose the ping. Okay, so I've made my decision. I'm going to delete my GIF file. It's like, I don't like the GIF version. And then I'm going to go to Photoshop and delete the GIF version because I've decided I like the PNG file better. Now, we're not going to do anything crazy in here this week except for name things the way we want them to export, but just to give you a taste of what is going on with what you can do in here. You can say all kinds of things like 200%. So we'll get there, but there's more things that you can type in here besides the file name. I'll just leave it at that. So now I've done that. You know, while I'm in here, let me just do a couple other ones. So I'm going to select the Kevin Bacon. This one's named header image, and it's got a rectangle. Okay. Oh, it's a mask. Okay, there's a mask over the whole Kevin Bacon image. Yeah. So the mask has been applied to only show the top of the image. So these are really together as one package. Okay, I'm just going to call it header. And now, you know, I probably would choose a JPEG for this. It's a picture. But again, if you wanted to test JPEG versus PNG, you can do some testing with that. But either way, Command S to save, and you will see that that image asset has been generated for you in your file view. So now I have logo.psd and .ping and header.jpg. So here's my header, looking good. Okay, since I'm on a roll here, I'm just going to go ahead and do these 4 images, and then I will be done. Oh, and maybe grab that arrow too. So quickly, I'll just choose some names for these. So I don't want this text. This is the popular film text. I really want to do these individually. So I'm going to just say Footloose, and these are so small. I might be inclined to use a GIF for them because the quality doesn't really matter. But I can always change my mind later. I will say, just as an aside while I'm doing this, that you're always going to be making trade-offs between quality and size of the file, and trying to strike an appropriate balance between how long this image will take to download versus how good it looks when it does download. So that's what I'm thinking about just while I'm doing this. Okay, so those are those 4. And then I'm going to go grab this one. What's that one? It's called Arrow. Okay, and the whole button has the pink part. Oh, it's got a bit of a shadow on it too. Look at that. So that's fancy. We may have to put a glow on those things, but we'll. I bet that's for the hover effect. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But for now, I'm just going to say arrow. And because the arrow probably has a glow too, transparency is going to be important. So I'm going to say arrow.png. So the way I quickly made that decision, I'm going to hold space to get my hand and then click down and drag to move it. So as I looked at the arrow.png and I took the button background away, I could see there's a little glow around there, which means this is a glow in front of a transparent background. So, yeah. So this may be important. The transparency may be important when we start mashing it together with its background color. So that's why I chose a PNG, because the PNG is going to handle that transparency a little better. Okay, if I save, now I should have plenty of assets in my folder. I do, and I can actually take these. This one's an extra one, I think. Okay, yeah, it's a whole mock-up because it was sliced, it was masked. So that one I probably don't need, but everything else, so I'm going to shift select all of this stuff, option select on Windows or command select on Mac to unselect Kevin Bacon and drag these into my image assets. Done. Later we'll see how to automate even this process, but for now at least we've automated the generation of these items. In the next video we'll start applying them.